the MTB process to the ITC from congressional oversight, and if there are potential problems, new problems that may be associated with that transition?
Yeah, there was a problem in the House, I think, more in terms of it is a political problem that they have and a violation of their House rules in terms of earmarks and special interest legislation, and I think the challenge they had was that, you know, most tariff bills are such a small universe of people that benefit from lowering or raising one duty that some of the members were uncomfortable with the fact that they were kind of giving these benefits away on their own, you know, introducing a bill and getting them enacted. So I think that making it a more formal process with you know, more opportunity for public comment and so forth, and more opportunity for other folks to see what's being considered, I think is really the benefit they think they're going to get from having the ITC look at these bills. Any other questions?
Okay, well, I have a couple.
You're already hard.
I promise it won't be too hard. Staying on the MTB issue, are you all going to have a time frame limited in which submissions can be, or petitions can be submitted for different ones? I know because Congress had sometimes when they put out a notice, they would say, okay, you've got 45 days to give us all of your petitions. And is it not going to be on a sort of a rotating constant thing, or one time per year, or have you all thought that far?
My understanding, it's a pretty detailed timeline, and I think it'll be, if I can remember correctly, I think it's kind of 2 batches of bills. And our regulations, which is what we're kind of, you know, working on now, will lay that out, but it'll basically 2 or 3 months to submit the bills, and then another 6 or 8 months to have them analyzed and then sent up to the Hill. I don't want to get too specific about the details because we're trying to get that ironed out at this point. But it'll be very clear in terms of when your deadlines are and so forth.
With respect to the harmonized tariff schedule, I know that there used to be a process years ago, and I think you were part of that, where Congress, I believe almost every 2 years, would just sort of have a, hey, ITC, do a review of the tariff schedule and find us if there's problems, if there's tariff inversions or whatever, and let's get those fixed. Do you foresee that coming back?
I'm trying to remember, Kathy may know, Kathy DeFlippo, our head of operations. I think if I remember in that legislation, there's probably a clause in there that says if we see inversions and so forth or anomalies, we would report those to the Hill for, you know, possible consideration in any legislation. But I don't know if that's in the bill or not. I guess I'm remembering that, but there's something in there about inversions, I think.
Not in the MTB bill?
In the MTB bill?
No, I don't think it's in there.
You sure? Okay. Yeah, then maybe there isn't anything official at this point on that.
And it was, if I recall, it used to be at the request of the Ways and Means Committee, would generally say, okay, hey, ITC, do your 2-year review and let's fix it.
Yeah.
Because I know that there's been a long time since that's been done, and so there's probably a lot of chafe that needs to be cleaned out from the good part.
Yeah.
I got a question with respect to, you know, when you, I would say that from my perspective, when I talk about the ITC, I say it's one of the few nonpartisan, just the facts type organizations. So I applaud you and your colleagues. As you said, you all do work well together. And I think it's very evident to everyone in the trade community. And we really appreciate it because you're seeing people looking at the economic facts, making opinions, getting input from the industry that really put out solid reports, solid information. It's information that I feel very, very comfortable with whenever I'm looking at it. Whereas when I look at other reports from other agencies, I feel that they have a bias one way or the other. So I do applaud you and your colleagues for what you've achieved there. But when you're looking at the, you know, who your audience is, you talked about the president, you talked about Congress. Do you see it as sort of just the public writ large, or I mean, do you really feel like you are beholden to these sort of entities?
And it's an interesting question. I think we have primary customers, and we've always been kind of behind the scenes, not policy, just trying to be objective and give everyone the same set of facts so they can make good decisions and have informed debates. But we do, as any think tank, and we depend on sort of the intellectual capital of our analysts, and our analysts are specialists in different industries and different parts of the law, so they appreciate contacts with the private sector, and we handle those contacts carefully in the sense we have an Office of External Affairs, and we have to be careful about communicating on a particular case that's filed with us. But when we're in more of our just analyzing and collecting information, researching mode, we are able to have roundtables and reach out to industry to get their perspectives on things that we're writing about. So we always appreciate when embassies will, try to contact us and see if we can just have a courtesy meeting to exchange information. We very much appreciate it when embassies in particular participate in our unfair trade cases, really at any level. They're very expensive cases to participate in, but if a commercial counselor wants to come and just give a perspective on a particular industry or what's going on in that area, we welcome that testimony in our proceedings, and we include it as part of our public record that will be analyzed when the commissioners vote on a case. So we are behind the scenes, and we're not out front, and our primary customers are the President and Congress, and primarily the Ways and Means Committee and the Finance Committee. But we're also very open to working in the trade community and learning from you all in terms of the problems that are facing your industries and your governments.
And one other thing I didn't hear you talk about, but isn't there a report that's coming out maybe next week that you all are focusing on?
Yeah, I mean, that was I ran through kind of quickly the Trans-Pacific Partnership under the Trade Promotion Authority bill, which, as you know, was passed last year, and which will extend, importantly, will extend the President's ability to negotiate trade agreements through 2018, and then there's an opportunity for an extension to 2021. But under the very detailed procedures on how these trade agreements, if the President negotiates them, are considered, there's a requirement that before he presents the agreement to Congress for a vote, that the ITC conducts what we call a probable economic effects analysis of the agreement. So we'll be doing a very long report analyzing pretty comprehensively the Trans-Pacific Partnership. I think it'll be interesting to other countries that are participating in that agreement, as well as Congress and the administration, and it will be public. And it's one of the requirements in the statute that has to happen before Congress votes on it. And then Congress goes into its decision-making mode when they decide it's time to do so, and they'll do their own hearings and their mock markups and so forth to actually implement the agreement. But this is sort of the first step in the process of Congress considering the agreement.
And that's May 18th?
Next Wednesday, May 18th.
Great. Any other questions? Yes.
Hi, Brittany Mountry, the Society of Chemical Manufacturers Affiliates. I just wanted to go back on MTB real quickly. Our manufacturers are really excited for this process. They've been waiting for it for 4 years, and they're starting to get ready. Do you foresee the petitions being similar? It's a lot of data, especially these small chemical manufacturers. They need to take a lot of time to get these ready. I just want to kind of give them an idea if they should be preparing the same kind of information.
Yeah, it'll be that it'll be information that will be familiar to, I think, in general. And it will be, very clearly spelled out. And we may try to give folks a heads up on what we might be requiring. So it'll be in October. It'll be the portal will, knock on wood, will be open and functioning, and we'll be happy to work with you. We have actually a small business assistance office. If you've got small guys, that would be helpful in terms of any counseling that anybody would need on details.